This might be cute little pendants week. I'm going to do another cute little easy pendant. Cute little easy pendant. I don't know how much I'm going to need because I haven't practiced this. So I'm going to take 2 feet just to be safe. That's 2/3 of a meter. 20 gauge. Antique copper. That's what I like. You can use anything else. This is an 8mm. You can use a different size, but I like this. 8mm round stone bead. Bead means there's a hole drilled through it, generally, if you're searching for stuff online or whatever. Anyway, African turquoise, it's kind of a dyed jasper. I love this stone. Okay, let's put it through. If you've watched one video on this channel, you know I'm going to say, bring it to the middle, hold the 2 ends of the wire together, bring it to the middle, and crimp it. And after you crimp it, bring one end all the way around. And this is how I've done like 3 different pendant videos this way. So, but a lot of you don't get to see them all because they're listed at a different time. You haven't subscribed yet. You miss it. Whatever. So it's cool. Let's do this again. But this one's a little different in case you haven't seen the others. So I'm keeping the wires side by side. I'm trying not to let them cross over each other. Technical issues again. Maybe if I put my hand under it. There, no, almost had it. Wow, this camera's stupid. There we go. Oh, anyway, so you see them side by side. So you can use your round nose plier, but I like to hold them side by side like this as I come around. And I'm gonna make my loop to attach the jump rings to make the bail. Little smaller than the stone, not much. Okay. Now for this next part, just go wild, but basically, and I did a bracelet like this early on. You're basically holding these side by side by pinching them, and you're turning them in a circle, but you're still holding them side by side so they don't flip over each other. And you're gonna make little itty bitty loops. The tighter you pull them, the littler they get, but the more they'll fight you. They'll try to cross over each other and flip, and you just gotta keep pressing them tight so that they stay like that. Wow, camera, you're terrible. Let's try that. There we go. Okay. So what I do is I'll make a loop this way, and then I'll flip over and make a loop the other way, because it comes out to this just beautiful tapestry. And I try to roll it really tight, get the loops pretty as close to each other as possible. So these are tiny little loops. They're each like 4mm by the time I'm done pulling them tight. And you'll get a handle of how to roll them in a certain way so they stay close together. But still, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be very, very not perfect. Think of it like a tapestry, like a bunch of leaves that look beautiful in nature, but they're in no way, shape, or form perfectly done like a machine. They're like, you know, sporadic. So, see that? And just keep turning it around. It's a lot of finger pressure with your fingernails pressing tight, keeping those little tiny loops side by side, right? See, that one right there tried to cross over. And if you want, every once in a while, you can take your pliers and just pull them, like flatten them like that. Sometimes you gotta be careful. You gotta roll it sometimes, but that can get them extra flat. But be careful, don't do it too much. You don't want to scratch up the surface of the wire if you have coated wire, which this is. It's antique copper colored, coated over genuine copper, which is kind of cool. So if it gets scratched, it'll just show the bare copper underneath, which will then tarnish as it touches the air over time, and then it'll pretty much blend in, as far as I know. So we're getting this tapestry coming around and around and around, and we just want to keep going with it till we feel we have enough to make a circle around the stone. So I think about 2 more and I'll be there. So yeah, I think I'm about there. Let's give it a little test. Yeah, I think that's about good. So look how pretty that looks. Now you could do whatever you want from this point. You can make a diamond shape, you can make an oval, You can make a circle. You can pull it right up tight against the stone so it's kind of like overlapping the stone. It's all up to you. I kind of like this just the way it is now. So I'm going to... I don't like this last part here. I didn't quite make it as tight. I stopped paying attention. There we go. I think that's better now. Let's see. Yeah, I'm liking how that's looking. So just bend it and mess with it. But try to get pretty close to the bail now. And get it the shape you want. Get it over. Well, I call this the bail. It's part of the bail. Your top loop. And once you get it right where you want, fold it carefully. Like this. Pinch it. You can use your pliers if you need. Give it a good gentle pinch. And then you're going to come around. And I call this scarfing it. Like you're giving, like this is a little face at the top and you're wrapping a scarf around him, keep him warm. But I stack, as I go around and around, I stack them. This particular one, you can give yourself a bigger loop. Maybe you should make the loop as big as the whole stone, because then you could wrap it up higher. But this one, I'm almost at the top, and I only wrapped it twice. And that's fine. That's totally fine. I could probably get by with one more, and that's going to make it very tight to try to put the jump rings in. And I've done it. I could make it work, but I think it looks good with just the two here. So I'm going to go in the back, and see that right there? Pretend I didn't wrap it a third time. See that? I'm going to cut it carefully so I don't cut the wrong wires. It's like defusing a bomb in a movie. The red wire or the blue wire? You want to cut it halfway across the loop. And have it kind of sticking up in a diagonal like that. See that? Ugh. There we go. Okay. And then gently, trying to let these loops get in your way. Gently try different angles. Tuck those two sharp ends into the bowl that's made by the scarf. Tuck them in. Make sure they're deep, deep where they can't get out. Nothing can scratch. They're as tucked as you can get them. Turn it back around and play with it some more. Just get it the way you want. But don't stress that it's, there's no such thing as perfection here. This is not a symmetrical piece. You could probably try to make it symmetrical. I think it's cooler just the way it is. And the only last thing I do is I put it flat and I try to bend the edges down flat because I like my pendants to have a nice concave feeling. I feel like they rest flat against a person's chest that way. If there's like a bowl, like a half bowl like that. So just a little bit. Bend it just a little bit so the points of contact are all around the edge. And then get yourself some nice jump rings. I don't have jump rings, so I'm going to take a slightly heavier gauge and make my own. And you can watch because that's just the most exciting thing in the world, I guess. I don't know. But I'm going to take, you don't need much, about 4 or 5 inches, about 8-10 centimeters. And you can get this, it's actually a stepped jump ring maker. And I have a small one and a big one. This is my small one, but I'm going to use the biggest size. You just wrap them as tight as you can. You could find other objects to do this with, but it's hard to find just the right size. So this guy really comes in handy. And just wrap it as tight as you can. And pull it off. Take your fingernails, get them into the last loop, pull. It's a spring, voila. Now we can create all kinds of electronics. Take your cutters, cut that end off. Now line them up carefully and just keep cutting one end at a time. Put it down carefully, and that way you'll get all your jump rings the same size. And I prefer to buy jump rings because they usually come in a heavier metal, and they usually don't have these sharp edges from being cut. But in a pinch, these do just fine. And I like to put like 3 jump rings or 4 or 5, because it gives it a nice look and it keeps the piece from flipping or rolling too much on the person's neck if you have more jump rings, I've found. So 3 should be good for this. And I got this really pretty antique copper chain. These are really inexpensive. I got like I think I got like 10 or 20 of them in a bulk pack from Amazon. They're really small link. They're like 2mm by 3mm link if you're trying to find the exact whatever. But I also try to put the chain on. 9 people out of 10 are right-handed, so I try to put the chain on so when the necklace will be facing the correct way on their neck, the clasp will be in their right hand when they go to put it on themselves, because that way they won't accidentally put it on upside down. So many people put on my necklaces upside down. It obviously is upside down. I don't know how they miss it. They look in the mirror and they say, oh, this looks nice. And I'm like, that's upside down. And then I flip it for them. And then they're like, whoa, that looks even better. And I'm like, yeah, because that's the right way it's supposed to be. What's wrong with you? So to avoid that confusion, I make it so the clasp is in your right hand when you go to put it on yourself. Like that. See that? Oh, yeah. Anyway, you guys have an awesome night. Thank you for hanging out with me. This is kind of technically a late night wire wrap, even though I'm still in the facilities and not at home yet. But telling you, this is super fun. And it doesn't have to look like this. You can do all kinds of beautiful stuff with this tapestry of just underhand loop, overhand loop. Have a good night, guys. And I'm going to try to add some little video screens on here. So click on one of these 4 videos. I always put my favorite videos from way back that won't always come up in your suggestions. See you.